Good evening and welcome to Just the News. I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for joining us. Let's get straight to it. We're starting with the updates from Afghanistan before we go to the rest of the news. Reuters has reported that a total of 12 people have been killed in and around Kabul airport from Sunday till today. A Taliban official told Reuters on Thursday that the deaths were caused either by gunshots or by stampedes. He urged people still crowded at the gates of the airport to go home if they don't have the legal right to travel. The Taliban official went on to say, "We don't want to hurt anybody at the airport," end quote. According to ABC News, US President Joe Biden said that US troops may stay in Afghanistan past their August 31st deadline if necessary. He also went on to defend his decision to withdraw troops, saying that there was no way for the US to pull out without the chaos. This comes after several critics have criticized Biden's decision to withdraw troops in this manner. If he asked that the handling could have been done better, he said no. Joe Biden went on to say, and I quote, "If there's American citizens left, we're going to stay until we get them all out. We will determine at that time who is left, and if they are not out, we will stay. We're going to go back in hindsight and look. But the idea that somehow there is a way to have gotten out without chaos, I don't know how that happens," end quote. Former Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, who's currently being sheltered by the UAE on humanitarian grounds, has said that he has no intention to remain in exile and is in talks to return to Afghanistan. He announced it on a video message on Facebook. He also defended himself against accusations of stealing money from the treasury when he left the country, saying that he arrived in the UAE empty-handed. He said he didn't even have the time to change his shoes and he left Kabul wearing the sandals he was wearing at the presidential palace on Sunday. Ghani fled the country on the 15th of August when the Taliban surrounded Kabul. According to Reuters, the International Monetary Fund has suspended Afghanistan's access to IMF resources, including $460 million in emergency currency reserves, due to a lack of clarity over the country's government after the Taliban seized power. The IMF spokesperson said that there is currently a lack of clarity within the international community regarding recognition of a government in Afghanistan, and as a consequence of which the country cannot access its special drawings or other IMF resources. It is as always the case, IMF is guided by the views of the international community, end quote. According to ANI, and this pertains to India, the Federation of Indian Export Organization has said the Taliban has stopped all imports and all exports to and from India through transit routes of Pakistan. The organization has said the prices of dry fruits may increase sharply in the future in India, as the country imports nearly 85% of our dry fruits from Afghanistan. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar was questioned today about how India would deal with the Taliban. And this is an important answer. He responded saying, and I quote, "We are, like everybody else, carefully following the developments in Afghanistan. I think our focus is on ensuring the security in Afghanistan and the safe return of Indian nationals who are there." Jaishankar is currently in New York to chair a high-level meeting under India's current United Nations Security Council presidency. On being asked if India had communicated with the Taliban at all, he said, and I quote, "At this point of time, we are looking at what the situation is in Kabul. Obviously, the Taliban and its representatives have come to Kabul. We need to take it on from there," end quote. Slightly ambiguous there. An update from Shillong before we move on to the rest of the news. Now, you'll remember that there was stone pelting, vandalism and arson in Shillong on Sunday. There has been an improved situation of law and order since then. So the curfew was lifted today during the day after 5 a.m. for 12 hours. But the restriction will stay in place at night. Now, the city was placed under curfew and several other districts of Meghalaya had their internet cut off after there was stone pelting, vandalism and protests after the death of Chesterfield Tungkyu, who was a former militant of the outlawed HNLC Council. He was killed in an encounter with the police in the early hours of the 13th of August, and it has been alleged that the police staged that encounter in order to kill him. The government has now ordered an inquiry into that matter after the Home Minister quit on this event. Moving on to other news coming in from India right now. An update on the West Bengal post-poll violence. The Calcutta High Court has ordered a court-monitored CBI investigation into the alleged rapes and murders that took place after the election results were announced in Bengal. The court has ordered the state government to hand over all records of cases to the CBI so the investigation can be carried out. And to just remind you, this post-poll violence broke out in West Bengal following the announcement of the assembly election results on the 2nd of May. It was alleged that the Trinamool Congress, which won with an overwhelming majority, turned a blind eye when its supporters clashed with BJP supporters in various parts of the state. The BJP has claimed that at least 24 BJP workers were killed in the violence. Well, on to our daily COVID update. India has reported 36,401 new COVID cases. Kerala has reported 21,116 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Now, the good news here is that Kerala has managed to keep its daily COVID report at around 20,000 cases, which means that it hasn't been, that line is not moving up, but they're steadily reporting 20,000 new COVID cases every day. That's a large chunk of India's total numbers, and India's total numbers have stayed safely below 40,000 a day for a while now. In a new study, the Indian Council of Medical Research has said the Delta variant can also infect people who are fully vaccinated. The study was conducted on vaccinated and unvaccinated individuals who are infected with COVID. The study noted that the prevalence of the Delta variant that originated in India was not different between vaccinated and unvaccinated people. It also said that the Delta variant was the dominant circulating strain and one of the primary drivers of the second wave. Of course, this information most of us already knew. Uttar Pradesh has decided to reopen schools from classes 6 to 8 from the 23rd of August and classes 1 to 5 from the 1st of September. This comes after schools opened from classes 9 to 12 on Monday with 50% attendance. The National Institute of Virology Director Dr. Priya Abraham has said that recommendations of booster doses of the COVID vaccine will definitely come in the future. The official stand of the government on booster doses, though, is closely being studied. In an interview, she said, and I quote, "Studies on booster doses have been going on overseas, and at least 7 different vaccines have been tried out for the booster dose. Now, WHO has put a stop to it till countries catch up. This is because there's an alarming vaccine gap between high-income and low-income countries." So basically what's happening is that there are several countries right now that are giving booster doses, which is the third dose, to their population 6 months after the second dose was administered. But the WHO has not recommended it because there are many, many countries where people haven't even got one dose yet because of a shortage of vaccines. So the WHO feels that rich countries who have already managed to vaccinate a large number of their populations are just chewing up more of the supply by giving them a third dose, and they should hold on. Mumbai's civic body, the BMC, has announced that the COVID vaccination drive will be suspended on the 19th and the 20th of August on all civic, so BMC and government hospitals because of a shortage of doses that Mumbai is facing right now. On to an update from business and economy. Diesel prices have been cut for the second straight day, but it's really nothing to celebrate because it's come down 20 paise. It's gone up a remarkable amount. Now, across the country, diesel is almost at 100 rupees. In Mumbai, it is 97 rupees and 4 paise. Petrol in Mumbai right now is 107 rupees and 83 paise. But this is something interesting. So the government has constantly given us different answers as to why the price of fuel remains so high when it's not exactly mirroring what's happening in the global price of crude, right? The latest answer that the government has given us, and this is from Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, she said it is the oil bonds that the Congress UPA government had actually handed out at that time, which they are having to pay off now. So oil bonds is effectively a loan that you take from people because you need the money. Because basically petrol prices were very high at that point, the government borrowed money in order to pay for petrol when it was over $100 a barrel. And she said now this government is having to pay back those loans, those bonds, and that is why they have to keep the price high. But if you just examine the numbers there, the bonds which they have to pay back are 1.3 lakh crore rupees. And the government in its annual budget has only budgeted to pay the interest on this amount, which is a fraction of that. But if you consider what the government has made by collecting these taxes from us, in the financial year 2020-2021, which ended in March this year, it collected 3.71 lakh crore rupees in tax from petrol and diesel, which is 3 times the amount of the oil bonds. So they could have paid off those bonds 3 times over in the money that they have collected. So the fact that they're saying that they're having to keep the price high in order to be able to pay off these bonds when they're actually only paying off the interest is not accurate, and that is something that we should know. So we still don't have really a proper justification from the government as to why the price of petrol and diesel is so high. Now also LPG is so high and putting so much pressure on the average Indian. Moving on now to news coming in from across the world. According to Reuters, the Haitian city of Les Cayes has witnessed tremors late on Wednesday. This comes after Haiti is reeling on the after effects of a devastating earthquake of 7.2 magnitude on Saturday. According to the latest figures, 2,000 people died and over 6,000 were injured. Remember, Haiti has suffered tremendously. Its citizens are extremely poor. Plus, they've had a really bad run in terms of politics. Their president was assassinated a little over a month ago. They have raised concerns about relief material not reaching them on time. And back in 2010, they had a terrible earthquake that claimed 2 lakh lives. So the island country has really going through a very difficult time. One positive news before we leave you for today. Now, most traffic cops are really strict, especially when they catch you breaking the rules. But there was one traffic cop in Nagpur who decided to pay the fine himself when he found out that the auto driver that he had challaned couldn't afford it. So here's the story. Basically, the driver, Rohit Kadse, drove an auto and his auto was seized by the Nagpur police and he was issued a challan for breaking traffic rules. According to a social media post by the Nagpur police, the man solely depended on his auto rickshaw to earn a living, was then going to break his son's piggy bank to pay the fine and get his auto back. So when the police found out about it, the traffic police not only returned the little boy's money, but also paid the fine themselves. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for listening. A lot of you wrote in yesterday saying you want the quiz question. Here's the quiz question. The price of diesel has come down in the last 2 days. By how much has it come down in India? Leave us the answer in the comment section and leave us the thumbs up if you're finding this useful. Tell your friends and family about it. And if you happen to be on YouTube, do subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Good night.